Hello and welcome to the third episode of Curly Chats. I'm so excited to have my very first guest on today's episode. I know you're all wondering who it is, so let's go. Alrighty, it's Kennedy!
Hello!
She is my teammate, my friend, my bestie girl, and I will actually insert a picture what she looks like on a daily basis for her hair reference, and then we're gonna try to achieve my curly hair look on her. Alrighty guys, here we go. Okay, Kennedy, tell them about your hair. Tell them your hair journey in life.
Oh, it's a lengthy one. So when I was younger, I used to have hair just like Sophia's. I would put mousse in it every single day, so it didn't have the fluffy, beautiful blonde curls that Sophia has. It was mousse and crunchy and all of the stuff. And then in high school, I would straighten it like every day, so I never wanted the natural curl to be there. And then in college, I unfortunately fried it off, and I lost a lot of my curl. And then I let it grow out during COVID time frame-ish. It was like down to here. And it was very healthy, very pretty.
She actually just showed me a picture, and it was down to there, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was very
She's
long.
still beautiful now.
And then I've just put a lot of heat on it the last 2 years, so it's gotten a little bit shorter.
But she looks way older with it shorter,
Yeah,
I think.
I agree.
Okay, I'm gonna walk through my curly hair routine while Kennedy talks you through her little life story and just tells you all about her because she's so amazing.
So I started dance when I was about 4 years old, and I was a studio dancer. I competed competitively from about second grade to a senior year in high school. And during my high school years, I also competed on my high school dance team. And then at the end of my high school career, I decided I wanted to try out for the University of Iowa dance team, which was about 30 minutes from my home. Midwest represent.
Hey, Midwest!
I tried out for the Iowa dance team and I made it. And there, I think I learned my love for dance team in high school, but at the University of Iowa, I learned more the school like spirit. Most of our season at the University of Iowa revolves around other athletics, whether it was football, volleyball, men's and women's basketball, wrestling. We really participated in all athletic events at the University of Iowa, and I think that's what made my experience the way it was. We got to go to bowl games. We got to partake.
Did you ever go to AT&T?
No, I wish. That would have been so
That would've been
cool.
cool.
Yeah. After college, I knew I wanted to continue dancing, and for the longest time, my heart was set on being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, which is how Sophia and I met. We are teammates. I auditioned for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders right out of college. That year, I made it to semifinals, and I got cut. I was devastated, to say the least. When I was 11 years old, my dad took me to a Cowboys game, and I knew that's what I wanted to be when I was older. So I felt like my world was over, which in the moment when your heart is broken, like, it's okay to feel that way, but also like there's always next year. And for me, there was, thankfully.
So my plan for every time I bring someone on Curly Chats is that I've been praying and asking God to give me like a word that we can kind of just keep adding on to as, you know, Kennedy gets to tell her stories and those to come. And today's word that the Lord gave me is perspective. So I'm just gonna let Kennedy also touch on that throughout her story on how, you know, she kept perspective in her life and DCC and all of those things. But that's the word for today, so continue.
Okay, so kind of going off of that, I feel like that point in my life when I was told no by DCC, my first time auditioning, I had to look at it from different perspectives. In the dance world, especially after college, there's so many options out there, whether it's other NFL teams, NBA, like my girl Sophia, and then there's also NHL and minor leagues and just different opportunities, whether it's New York, LA, whether it's more like theatrical style. There's so many options. I knew that my heart was set on dancing in the NFL, specifically for the Cowboys. But I knew that I wanted to still try and pursue it right out of college. Then that summer, I auditioned for an NBA team. I unfortunately didn't make that team either, but I knew that I just had to keep an open perspective at the year to come and what that year could provide for me in terms of my mental health, my physical health, transitioning out of college into being the full-time corporate world, and I literally can't imagine my life without that year. It was the most transformative year of my life. I did everything possible to make this dream my reality. I would do everything over Zoom, whether it was in my living room of my townhome.
So real when you live so far from Texas.
I know, there's no prep classes in Iowa, so I did everything virtually, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Okay, I applied all the product in her hair, and now we're gonna diffuse and see how much this girl curls. We will be back. There's some curl under here. We're working with something. We're having a snack break.
With my crazy hair.
We'll fix it. Look at that. She had curls.
No longer.
I'm just gonna put her hair half up, half down, and we're gonna add a little bit of curls, but she's got curl in her hair. I'm not gonna add too much.
Okay, so the year after college, like I said, I trained all virtually through Zooms. I trained with people that lived in Texas and Chicago, so just tried to dabble in getting perspective from everyone that kind of could help me. And I think it definitely led me to where I am today. It built up my confidence and just like DCC style, and I was able to find a fitness routine and like a really good, not diet, but just like lifestyle, finding food that I enjoyed to eat, that fueled me and allowed me to train as much as possible.
What do you feel like was the hardest like lesson to learn and to like accept during this time?
Honestly, I think I learned a lot of lessons, but the most important one was that I could want something at a certain time in my life. But if it's not his way, then it's not gonna happen. I think that's really when I kind of like leaned on my faith and like talked to God more and really like took ownership that I like wanted that to be a part of my life. I think I learned a lot during that chapter, and just knowing that everything happens for a reason. But I knew that deep down that I had this dream and I wanted to continue to pursue it. So thankfully I worked hard enough, and you know, it was also in his plan to have me make it the second time I auditioned.
I actually at church this morning, shout out Dustin Bates. He said, you know, if you just went ahead and showed up at the destination that you think you're gonna arrive at, like you're gonna miss God. Like that's the easiest way to just miss God, because you think like, oh, these are the steps I'm gonna take to get there, and it's like, he takes you in a complete different direction before you go in the right direction. Does that make sense? So it's like, I just thought that was so good of what he said today, so continue.
Yeah, it's so true. And I think though, those, like if this goal wasn't meant for me, like it wouldn't have been so like deeply rooted in like who I am as a person.
And he gives you those dreams.
Exactly.
Like you have to ask God, like, did you give me this dream, or is this a dream I want, right?
Right, like it wasn't there just on a shooting star type of thing.
Right.
So when I found out I made semis and then I made it to finals, finals evening after I found out I made training camp, I had opted in to stay with DCC alumni, Miss Amber. Shout out Miss Amber.
Amber, we love you.
So I moved in on Father's Day, and then I lived with the DCC alumni till I think August like 6th or 7th.
Which we get the option, as soon as you make training camp, you get the option to stay in a hotel, or you can stay with an alumni cheerleader, just to clarify.
I think the most special part of it all is before I made training camp that year, the year before, so training camp 2022, Amber had a girl live with her, and her name is Carly.
And she's on the team now.
Yes, one of our really good friends. And then in summer 2023, I lived with Amber during training camp. And then last summer, summer 2024, Miss Sophia lived with Amber. So I think the bond that us three have is just like something that
I got chills.
No one can ever take away from us. And what's so cool is all three of us did not make DCC the first time we tried out. And I think it just is like all three of our journeys were very different getting to here. But we were all supposed to be here at the moment we were, and just like how it fell in line, I think it was so intentional. And Sophia, Carly, and I, and then Amber, like it's truly just a special relationship that I can't even imagine just living in Texas and not having that.
It's like now you just have a family in Texas. Like we're so close with her kids, we're so close with their family. Still go hang out with her. I still go stay the night there sometimes. And
I also want to tie like the end of this story back to perspective, and I think if your curls look like this, just put it into perspective and just put heat on it, and it'll be fine.
Tell us about your training camp. How was it? Like, I mean, I love training camp like so much. I love pressure. I love just the environment. It's like everyone's just like hyping each other up, and we're all just in this journey together. And I feel like there's no better place to bond and just like struggle and like win together, you know?
That's so true. And I think my training camp, I think Amber is a big reason as to why I'm here, because she helped me look at it from different perspectives, whether it was a good night or a bad night, or a stressful night or not easy night. There was really no easy night, but maybe it was something, we were working on a dance that we had been just reviewing the night before, so I was able to come with it fresh in my head. And so, you know, every night looked a little bit different. And so I think being able to go home to her and just kind of debrief and get my mindset right was so helpful.
Or even just when she would sit on the couch and we would perform for her in the living room, like I would do that all the time.
Yeah, I loved getting your videos. You in the video in front of the
She would
fireplace.
always send them to you and Carly, and I was so nervous at first because I like didn't know them. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're gonna see me dance. Like I hope they think I'm okay.
Sophia, I look like you.
You are me. Me and Kennedy have been on this year together, and it has been just like so exciting. And we always, you know, hang out, get coffee, talk, chat, practice, all the things together. So I'm just really grateful for such a good friend like Ken. Like you feel like you're sisters with like Carly and Kennedy because we had like the same alumni mom, and I'm like, that's our mom. Like, you know, we call ourselves we call ourselves Amber's Angels. My favorite part, now talking about family, is when we do Lighthouse and we do Baby I'm a Star, because we're so close to the fans. And literally when you see your family, it is the most exhilarating feeling ever. You're like, oh my gosh, like I almost like cry every time I get to see my parents in the, like standing there watching, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Or like your friends that come and visit.
Did you face the food trucks last year?
No, I faced the other way,
way?
so we were
Okay.
on the opposite sides.
Okay. I remember my mom, whenever she'd come to a game, well, all my family, they would always stand on the yard line that I
Yes.
would be on.
Yes.
And it's like, I feel like I'm just doing a show for you because, like,
Takes you back to the living room.
Yeah, I'm like, you're standing right in front of me.
Okay, while I do this last side, you tell me what your favorite memory of this year is. I know it was meeting me, but you can tell me your second favorite.
Okay, yeah. I do really like you, so. I think my favorite memory, it sounds so weird because it's technically not in season yet, but making it back to training camp. Because I think the off season is so, like, you're trying to figure out how to be the very best version of yourself for the upcoming audition season, and like really staying cued into who you are as a person, and like bringing your best qualities to audition is so important. And so I think, especially going into my second year last year, I was obviously wanting to make it back to training camp, and I think hearing your name and getting to be with everyone that was also a training camp candidate, it just puts it into perspective that it's like a lot of other women's dream. I think that just kind of like kicked off all the other amazing things. Standing in the tunnel, I always think of that pressure as a privilege because it's like such a surreal moment. Like every single time you're about to go out, I would ask some of the like upper veterans the end of my rookie year, I'm like, does like this like nervous like adrenaline
I
feeling
always ask
ever,
that. I'm like, does this go away?
It doesn't. And like that is so cool because I just think the women that have been a part of this organization has truly made it what it is, and I love it.
This is the last curl. She's on her last curl. You feel like me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil in it and kind of disperse the curls. We're just like playing the game. Like, can we achieve the curls or can we not? Here's the final look.
You actually did really good. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
I look like your twin.
Tween. Alrighty, that is all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Kennedy a little bit more. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.